Inside a museum, quiet contemplation of a young woman. An archaeological dig, a young girl viewing a display of items. Most museums explore the past. A woman contemplating a statue, the iron gates of a museum. Dinosaur bones on display. A crowd walks through a museum hallway lined with statues. A statue of a soldier, a row of columns, rustic-looking frames. The weathered face of a statue. This one changes the future. Canadian Museum for Human Rights. A newspaper photograph of Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau signing the Constitution in 1982 with the Queen of England, with the headline, "Canada a Leader in Human Rights." The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. An artist's rendering of the Canadian Museum for Human Rights with people mingling on the grounds. Antoine Predock, architect.
Canada is the perfect place for this kind of focus to occur. The building's physicality comes from intention that has relationship to human rights as a subject. The building does have profound connections to its message. The roots of humanity that reach out, that clutch the earth, remind us that many cultures, many oppressed cultures, have connections to the earth that are very deep.
A close-up of the artist's rendering showing the cloud portion of the exterior of the museum at night.
The cloud, I think there's an optimism about how the light strikes this cloud. It could be seen as a kind of beacon at night, glowing.
A close-up of the artist's rendering of the Tower of Hope, which presides atop the museum. Mr. Predock describes the circuitous route taken by visitors to reach the Tower of Hope, using a model and an artist's illustration as an example.
The Tower of Hope is the culmination of the visitor's experience. You would come through a rather interestingly circuitous route via rampways, via gallery sequences, finally to the Tower of Hope, where the visitor can go up to a higher vantage point, look out across the prairie and process what they've been through in the building. I can imagine on an evening many visitors carrying votive candles up the spiraling stairway in the Tower of Hope, illuminating the tower with candlelight. I think the building is seriously purposeful and has a mission that is philosophical, cultural, humane, that the building itself lives up to. Hey, there's been an experience put together here that is unique, that is life-changing.
Most museums have galleries. This one offers a journey. An artist's rendering of the museum during the day, with the city of Winnipeg as a backdrop. People in front of a screen moving around virtual terms such as language rights, the right to vote, mobility rights, and democratic rights. An image of people using various interactive displays about topics like deforestation and the Darfur crisis. A man speaking to various museum goers in front of a large video screen. Ralph Applebaum, journey designer.
This is the first major human rights museum in the world. It's the largest by far. We're not only explaining human rights from an individual point of view, but we're explaining human rights from a national and international point of view. The technology has a broad range of capabilities. We'll have a full Wi-Fi zone in and around the museum. We'll use QR barcodes in some of our graphics so that people can use their phones to load up additional information. We'll use augmented reality when we're standing in the tower and can hold up our GPS-equipped camera phones to find out what we're looking at. Everyone who visits the museum has an opportunity to send back to their personal mailboxes some of the exciting information or intriguing information that they discover as they walk through. In this museum, we observe the world through a human rights lens. Powerful encounters, media and stories. People move up and take action. Talk to someone. You reach a point where all of a sudden you become the subject of the museum. For Canada to do this is one of the most courageous acts of museum making I've seen in my career.
Winnipeg has a great human rights past, but an even greater human rights future. Image of a newspaper reporting the Winnipeg General Strike of 1919. Image of a newspaper article by Nellie L. McClung entitled, "Can a Woman Raise a Family and Have a Career?" Still photograph of Louis Riel and colleagues. Footage of a protest over French language rights. A teacher writing on a board terms like people, educating, accepting, celebrating, and everyone, while students watch. A newspaper article with the headline, "Museum Takes Dramatic Shape." A photograph of a youth standing amongst his sitting peers. A newspaper article with the headlines, "A Star Has Been Born. It is a beautiful thing for all of Canada and for the world." And Parliament approves Rights Museum. Mariette Muller, President and CEO, Agence Nationale et Internationale du Manitoba, ANIM. Come visit us in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. It is in Winnipeg that workers' rights, women's rights, Aboriginal rights, and rights of the French language have been fought and won over for all of Canada. All of our universities and Rotary International are working together to encourage youth worldwide to come experience and learn about human rights here in Winnipeg. This will be a worldwide destination for human rights. Winnipeg is the new Geneva. This museum, this city, and this province will change the world. A newspaper article with the headline, "Morrow's Vision, a New Geneva on the Prairies." Most museums honor heroes. This one creates them. A group of young teens motioning for silence with T-shirts that say, "Silence." A group of children looking at an item behind a display glass. A teen talking to the camera while sitting on the grass. A group of teens walking down the street. A young girl walking down the street. A group of teens holding a sign for the camera that says, "Everyone has the right to be equal." Two teen girls looking at a model of the Canadian Human Rights Museum. Craig Kielberger, co-founder of Free the Children, established 1995.
We're so excited that Winnipeg will be hosting the first ever Global Human Rights Museum, so that in the future, when we come together as young human rights advocates, we'll be meeting in your city. A chance for student groups to come across Canada, across the United States, and quite literally around the world, to be learning about human rights. A chance for young activists to have resources to come together and to help build on the amazing rich culture across this nation of youth helping to make the world a better place. Putting Winnipeg on the map not only as a great city, but a global destination for human rights.
Many different people talking about the museum.
There's still people out there that they just don't get the big picture.
The Canadian Museum for Human Rights will have a great impact.
It's gonna be a good idea.
Yeah, like for you guys to have a human rights museum over here would be an excellent thing.
It would be a major opportunity for Indian Sight to really show kids what's going on.
Well, I think the impact is huge because it'll be good for putting Winnipeg on the map for one thing, but also to, I guess, create the awareness to everyone.
Human rights that are most important to me are freedom of religion,
clean water,
women's rights,
les francophones,
the First Nations people.
In my rights, I believe in my native cultural rights.
Disabled, sexual preference.
Anti-bullying focus, treating the earth and the world with respect.
Well, I think it's great for the city of Winnipeg.
And I'm really glad we're doing it and proud of Canada and proud of Winnipeg. It looks beautiful already.
I think it's going to be the greatest museum in the world.
From Winnipeg for the world, Canadian Museum for Human Rights. Be there.